How do we fight back against subscription-based models? Well, my thing is, I want to welcome you back to another video. Today, we are going to be getting into the topic at hand, which is Avid Pro Tools. Is it considered the industry standard? Should you buy Avid Pro Tools in 2025? What is going on with Avid Pro Tools? I want to start off when I first got introduced to Avid Pro Tools. But let's rewind the clock back just a little bit, because when I first heard about Pro Tools, it was actually called Digidesign. And I remember going down to my local Guitar Center, and I had chopped it up with the guy, and he told me that I would need something like the Inbox 2, which came with the Pro Tools software. And back in that time, you would need to have the Inbox in order to run the Pro Tools software. So fast forward all these years later, I've been using Pro Tools, and this was back in 2007, went to audio school in 2008. So I've been using Pro Tools for all of this amount of time. For me, I've never had any big issues with Pro Tools. Pro Tools has been my pretty much go-to DAW, right? From recording, mixing, and light mastering, it's all done inside of Pro Tools. And so from this example, you can kind of see how Pro Tools was introduced to me from an associate at Guitar Center. So, you walk into a store, they're saying, hey, if you want to capture good sounding audio like the pros, you're going to need Pro Tools because that's what people use. And for me, that's how I got my exposure to Pro Tools, was through an associate at Guitar Center. The next thing you know, I go to audio school in 2008. Their curriculum includes a Pro Tools course, right? You have to master Pro Tools. And also going to the school, I was told if you want to get a job in the professional industry, you're going to have to understand how to use Pro Tools. So from my experiences and the way I see things, you can kind of see how Pro Tools kind of got their start in the industry, right? Number one, it was pushed onto me at Guitar Center. They were saying nothing else is good as Pro Tools, so you have to use Pro Tools. Number two, educational institutions. So in 2008, when I went to audio school, I had to learn how to use Pro Tools. To get a job into a studio, they were using Pro Tools. So now we can kind of understand how Pro Tools became the industry standard, from being in stores at Guitar Center and being pushed on to the customer saying, hey, you want to be professional, use Pro Tools, to educational institutions, such like the audio school that I went to. If you go to any big budget studio, then you are going to be using Pro Tools. So going back to the initial question, what makes Pro Tools industry standard? Well, how do we define industry standard, right? So basically, it's a criteria or guidelines that the people in your industry is using. Let's say, for example, in the video world, right? If you want to color grade a video, there's software such as Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, and DaVinci Resolve. But if we are speaking about industry pros, then DaVinci Resolve is going to be the industry standard. So in the audio world, Pro Tools has become the industry standard. That is what people are using. Now, over time, technology has advanced tremendously. We have a lot more bedroom producers, project studios, and a lot of the big budget studios are now closing their doors because audio software such as Logic, Ableton, FL Studio, Cubase, Studio One, all of these different softwares are at competitive pricing. But going back to see what everyone was using, it's Pro Tools. Now, is Pro Tools for producers or is it for engineers? Now, some people might say Pro Tools is for engineers, but at the end of the day, it's for producers, engineers, musicians. They have it marketed to a lot of other people because you can record instruments, you can record vocals, you can record live performances, and you can play back audio to help you with your live performance. So Pro Tools has become this industry standard software because a lot of audio professionals use Pro Tools. And that is what people are trained on, and that is what people have been using for many years. As I've mentioned, you do have a lot of different other DAWs out there, such as Logic and Ableton. And the good part about it is that you can choose whatever DAW that you want to use, right? You no longer have to sit there and buy Avid Pro Tools to create great sounding music. You have a lot of producers from the EDM world that has adapted Ableton. You have a lot of producers from the hip hop world that has adapted Ableton. For me as a producer, I like using Native Instance Machine because they have a great ecosystem. And what do I mean by ecosystem? Well, first of all, you get the software, so we're at 3.0. Then you have the machine, and the machine itself, whether you get the Mark III or the Machine Plus, it has that built-in audio interface. So if you are a producer and you want to get your ideas out as fast as possible, then I say Maschine has the best workflow hands down. And it doesn't even matter if you do hip hop music, EDM music, jazz music, the Maschine is going to allow you to get your ideas out. Now, switching back to the engineering side, Maschine may not be useful for engineering, and that is what Pro Tools is for. So why is there a bunch of angry users at Pro Tools? It's not necessarily Pro Tools itself, because I think we can all agree it's a solid piece of software. But the issue comes in is when you have loyal customers and the customers start to feel that money is being extracted from their pockets. Now, I am not a big fan of subscription at all. It might work in other industries, but for the audio industry, specifically like the music production and engineering, I don't think there's a need for subscription, although I do understand how it's definitely profitable. Some people might say their business practices are unethical, but they're following a subscription-based model. There's a lot of different companies out there that follow a subscription-based model, from your Amazons to your Netflix, to DirecTV, Xfinity TV, any type of streaming service. You have that reoccurring payment. How do we fight back against subscription-based models? Well, my thing is, don't buy it. For example, for me, 2018 was the last time I purchased a Pro Tools license. I don't need the latest and greatest plugin unless it tremendously improves my mixing capabilities. Every year, a new phone comes out, a new vehicle comes out. Are we rushing to the car lots? Are we rushing to the phone stores to get the latest and greatest? That's on you. At the end of the day, we as consumers have the power to put our dollar into a company where we think is going to benefit us. And if we don't like what the company's doing, remove that dollar from them. So at the end of the day, am I going to still be using Pro Tools? Absolutely. And am I going to be upgrading every year? Absolutely not. I'm only going to upgrade if I feel that I need to. In 2020, I bought a brand new MacBook, and did I put Pro Tools on it? Absolutely. But what version of Pro Tools did I put on it? I put Pro Tools Intro. So those are pretty much my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. It's your boy Young Fizz, also known as Mr. Dope Status on Instagram. We will see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.